We are all teed up and ready to go. Game 2 of the 6A semifinals. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you here from Rice-Eccles Stadium. The winner will take on their rival, American Fork. And that doesn't matter who wins this game. It'll be an all-Utah County 6A state championship game as we are underway. Lone Peak taking on Pleasant Grove. And that ball goes out of bounds on the opening kickoff. We'll bring it out to the 35-yard line. And that is where Jake Jensen and the Pleasant Grove Vikings will take over on offense. Dane, this is the first semifinal since 2006 for the Pleasant Grove Vikings.
Yeah, Dusty, it's been a while. But, I mean, you look at this team, and this is the team that, in my opinion, can really do something that hasn't been done at PG in a long, long time, and that is contend and win a state championship. They are loaded. You talk about Jake Jensen, Dane Christiansen. I mean, he is the Swiss Army knife of this Pleasant Grove offense. Easton Fowler, Jackson Hill, and the defense is pretty doggone good too.
Fire on first down, and it is completed. And a big gain on the very first play of the game. Porter Connors with the catch and run, and it is 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line for the Pleasant Grove Vikings.
Mentioned a big gain, and I mean, this is one of those things. Talking with Coach Brockbank before the game, he said, you know, there's a little familiarity, so it's not terrible playing Jensen where we didn't play him earlier. But, you know, that familiarity, it's nice to be familiar. It's another thing to have to go out and execute against one of the best in the state.
Jake Jensen, a third-year starter for these Pleasant Grove Vikings. He did not play in the regular season matchup because of an injury, as Dane Christiansen carries to the 41-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. But Jake Jensen is someone that we've been able to watch the last 3 years. He's improved every year. Last year was an interesting year. PG, you consider him to be down, but Dane, it was funny, I said that, and then you go back and remind yourself that they won a first-round playoff game as the 4 seed, as they've been in the playoffs the last 2 years of the 4 seed out of Region 4. Won last year at Kearns. They lost a second-round game. But this is a team that's very good. That on 2nd down, once again, it is Connors with the reception inside the 30-yard line, and it is 1st and 10 Vikings at the 28.
And, you know, just like we talked about, Porter Connors is the biggest threat in this offense. Dusty, how about this? I mean, 2 big receptions coming out early and really finding some early success here.
Pleasant Grove knocked off East in the first round. That made work of Fremont in the second round to get here. Jensen rolling out. He's got some room, and he loses the football, and it looked like it was recovered by Lone Peak. And it is recovered by Lone Peak. Opening drive was going the way of the Vikings, and Jensen on a designed rollout has a ball knocked away at the end of the run, and it is Lone Peak football at the 24.
Boy, what a play by this Lone Peak defense. And Dusty, I mean, we talk about the offense really evolving. How about the defense? You see the pursuit by Daly from behind. He's the guy who takes the hack at it, and it's the Lone Peak defense coming up with the first turnover of the ball game.
The future BYU Cougar making the big play, and out comes Siri and the Lone Peak offense. And on first down, they'll fake the run. They'll throw to the outside. And it is a nice gain on first down for Thomas Doman. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
I like this throw to start things off. We talked about Siri, and we talked about how he's playing some of the best ball he has all year long. Safe throw into the flat, get it to Doman. He's one of their better receivers. Allow him to do some work, but a good throw to start things off here for Siri.
On 2nd down, they'll keep it on the ground. And I believe that is Mason Wake on the carry. Wake gets out across the 35-yard line for the Lone Peak first down.
The yacht. And Mason Wake, Dusty, he's big, he's physical, he's quick, and he's a great luxury to have in your backfield. And he's going to have a big game today for Lone Peak to be able to get this win.
Lone Peak made it to the semifinals last year and lost to East. Matter of fact, they've been a mainstay at Rice-Eccles Stadium since 2015. As that pass is knocked down in the backfield, and getting in there and knocking that down is Wesley UHSAA. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
You know, whenever we talk about Pleasant Grove, we talk about the offense. I get it. Offense is the talk of football. But this PG defense, Dusty, this is a different unit. And historically, they're not really well known for their defenses, but this group has a lot of talent. They put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They're stout against the run. It's a good group for the Vikings.
And a give up the middle, and Wake gets to the 44. Actually, will give them forward progress to the 45. So a nice job of getting that yardage there, and it'll be 3rd down and 1 for Lone Peak.
See, just a run right up the middle. Takes 3 Vikings to bring down Wake. Has rushed for over 1,100 yards this year, Mason Wake, and I think he was over 1,200 last year as a junior, if I recall correctly. Couple of opportunities at the next level for Wake, just waiting to see how some things play out. But Dusty, he is really kind of the feature guy, and then you've got Kobe Freeman as well. They'll line him up in the slot. They'll also run him out of the backfield. It's a dynamic attack for Lone Peak.
And on 3rd and 1, they go motion in the backfield and just able to pick up the 1st down on that motion. And that was the man who feels like he's been at Lone Peak for as long as we've been broadcasting, Kobe Freeman, right to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, you see they motion him back into the backfield, and they use Wake that time almost as a fullback. Wasn't able to get his helmet on any Viking, but it's enough nonetheless for a Lone Peak 1st down.
Yeah, it feels like that Kobe Freeman was on that team with Talmadge Gunther. I know that he wasn't, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
He did play in that state championship game his sophomore year, the loss to Bingham. Now the quick set and fire to the outside, and that is wide of Doman, the intended receiver, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
This time Pleasant Grove brings a blitz from the bottom of the screen, and it was a nice job by Siri to be able to get that ball away quickly.
It was an uneven start for Lone Peak, and it was something that Coach Brockbank talked about. He said, we were a little Jekyll and Hyde. He said, you beat Harriman, lose to Skyridge. There's nothing to sneeze at that way. Beat Liberty, come back and lose to Highland. It was kind of up and down. They've been able to find a little bit of consistency. As the most consistent man there is Mason Wake, but nicely done in the backfield there by Pleasant Grove's number 11, Spencer Tantioli. Tantioli made the stop, and it's now 3rd down and long.
A couple Tautiolis on this defense, one a senior, one a sophomore, Micah and Spencer. But Dusty, once again, they bring pressure around the edge from Connors, trying to force that run inside, and you see Mason Wake. I thought PG very fortunate that he lost his footing. I thought he had an opportunity to bounce off of that. Would have had at least 20 yards on the carry.
3rd down and 9. Siri fires over the middle. And to Doman, no, it's intercepted. Going the other way, got a return. Back inside of Lone Peak territory on the interception and return is Jaden Maldonado. Get used to that name. He's also a good basketball player for Coach McAllister. And Maldonado with the pick and return.
This one gets away from Siri. You see the overthrow. If he's able to bring that ball on a better line, it doesn't float so much. He's got a wide open target in the slot. Instead, he airmails it, and it's a big interception as Lone Peak gives the ball right back.
Trajan Hansen made the tackle. There would have been more yards on that. So back comes Jensen and the offense. Had a turnover on their first drive, but their defense gets one of their own. Looking to throw. Jensen. Daly got in there and then set up a sack for one of his teammates. Down goes Jensen. And I believe getting the sack was number 33, Brady Shimanek. It'll be 2nd down and long.
Bottom of the screen there from the O-line, number 45. Daly once again coming around, forcing him right into his teammate. I'm going to go 18.5 sacks on the year now for Michael Daly.
Just give him an assist on that one, get him some points. 6:45 remaining here in the opening quarter. Daly making his presence known. Jensen rolls near side, has his man. This is Dane Christiansen. And Christiansen gets back the sack yardage and then some to the 42-yard line, where it'll be third down and manageable now for Coach Wooten's offense.
There's another look at that. You see Christiansen in the flat, and don't let that play fool you. They'll run him vertical as well. He's a real matchup problem when you try to deal with this PG offense. A lot of different uses for number 20 in white today.
Trips to the top of the screen, 2 receivers near side. Empty set backfield. Jensen's quick hitter is complete. And it'll be a Viking first down to the 32-yard line. On the catch and run was number 42, and that is Carson Livingston. Different tight ends being used, 42 and 32, making the receptions today. And again, empty set as Jensen once again, pressure comes and down he goes. On the sack there, Jared Fotu.
I mean, this Lone Peak defense is kind of the rich get richer. I mean, if it's not Michael Daly, it's not Nate Ritchie, it's going to be Jared Fotu. So many guys you have to account for. And when you look at Lone Peak, you look at what they've done this year, the defense has really been the calling card. While that offense was trying to figure things out, the defense was there. It was consistent. It kept them in ball games. And now the offense is scoring points. It's why they find themselves here in the semifinal. This is a complete unit.
Second down and 17 after the second sack on this drive. Free rush coming in. Jensen wisely gets rid of the football and lives to see another down. It'll be third down and 17 now as Lone Peak just continued to dial up pressure.
The same pressure that time on back-to-back plays by Jared Fotu, bringing them right up the middle, and nobody accounts for number 7. Can't do that. I mean, you got to pick up these blitzers on the inside out on O-line protection, right? Cannot give an unblocked rush to Jared Fotu.
Third down and 17. Imagine you see some more pressure. They rush 5. Jensen over the middle, got his man! And it'll be a Pleasant Grove first down, standing in and making the great throw, and it's down to Spiritu with the reception. And it'll be 1st and 10, Vikings at the 20.
We talk about forgotten receivers, right? And honestly, for me, I think of Easton Fowler. Spiritu, another one of them, Dusty. He had big catches in that win over East in the first round. You know, when you have targets like Hill down the field and Christiansen, so easy to forget about the Fowlers and the Espiritu. There are truly 4 or 5 legitimate receiving targets for Jake Jensen in this offense.
And on first down, they go to Christiansen, and Dane gets inside the 20. A gain of maybe 1 on first down. It'll be second down and long.
One of the interesting things when we talked with Coach Brockbank before the game, you know, talking about Christiansen, knows well aware that they've got to figure out where he's lining up each play and compensate for number 20, have an answer ready for him. Going to try to make some of these other targets beat him.
Rex Connors, Easton Fowler at the top of the screen. Porter Connors near side with Hill. Play action, and Jensen just got rid of that football, and that was an incomplete pass. They let the free rusher come. He's got to know that and get rid of that football. Held on to it just a little bit long.
I'm actually wondering if this is a little disguised. You see the motion. No, you're right. They block down, and that's the defensive end, John Daly. Hey, guess what, Region 4? No, excuse me, Cade Walker. No, it was John Daly. Hey, we got another Daly in the wings here.
Yeah, we got Daly's and Connors going all over the place today. Third down and 10. Imagine we're in 2-down territory. The throw, pressure comes again. Jensen fires to the wheel route, and it's incomplete. But maybe just line up for a field goal here, and looks like that's what Coach Wooten's going to do, take some points.
Yeah, they've got a state championship kicker in soccer in Carson Ecolono. The senior will come on to try this field goal. Right now there's too much pressure on Jake Jensen. I mean, this rush is getting to him every time he is getting contact. And right now it's like a boxing match, right? These are body blows, and they're starting to try to get inside the mind of Jensen. Hey, we're coming, we're coming, we're coming. Got to figure out the protection scheme here offensively.
Bad snap. Fire. Viekner looking. Now fires back across the middle, and then we'll have illegal men downfield, I believe. That's what that flag is going to be. But as it is, it'll be no good. Field goal attempt to put the ball at the 20-yard line.
Did you think this was called fake, Dusty?
No, it was a bad snap.
You thought it was bad?
Yeah, no, it was a bad snap.
I thought he got the hold down. I actually wonder if it was called because it was a bootleg. You see options.
Well, it's what happens is you always have build-ins, and you yell, fire, fire.
No, I know that. I'm just saying I thought he got the ball down.
Oh, no, I thought it skipped to him. But
okay.
We can discuss that. We'll take a look at it. You're watching the 2018 6A semifinals on live.ksl and desertnews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter, 0-0 after the field goal attempt. The snap is off the mark, and so out comes Lone Peak after a good-looking first drive that ended in a turnover. Is Mason Wake on first down, has 6 yards. Actually, give him 7 to be second down and 3.
A solid run here. You see that right side, nice blocking up the field, and once again it's taken 2-3 guys to bring down the yacht.
Second and 3, back to the ground game, and Wake gets 2. They'll give him the first down at the 30-yard line. So 2 runs and a first down for Lone Peak as their mainstay running back, Mason Wake, making his presence known.
Keeping some unofficial stats. We'll make sure to keep, we'll let you know unofficially of how all of these players are doing. Mason Wake, 5 carries, 24 yards. Hey, if you can get 5 yards a clip, do it all day long, especially as the wind starts to make its way down to field level.
First and 10, Siri, quick set, fires to the outside, complete. And fighting for some extra yards there was Trajan Hansen. And Trajan gets 5 yards on first down. It'll be second and down and 5.
This is a route we saw a lot in the first semifinal game today. That quick comeback. Trajan Hansen, he's got some good speed to him. Wouldn't be surprised when they take shots to look the way of 17. Trajan Hansen has that ability to get past the opposing D.
Hansen, just a junior. Is Siri throws on first down second down and 5, and that would have been a house call had Rex Connors been able to squeeze that one.
Boy, fortunate. Look at this. You see Rex Connors right there, and he's reading this the entire way. He knows exactly what's coming, able to get a hand up. But, man, if he brings that in, we got our first score of the ballgame.
Third down and 5. Looking to throw. Pressure coming. Siri takes off. He's got a lot of green in front of him and just able to get to the 40-yard line. It looked like it was going to be a bigger gain on the stop for Pleasant Grove. Was number 19, Tautioli. Mike able to come up and get that stop, but it'll be a first down, a new set of downs for Lone Peak.
Nice job by Siri. Stepping up here, confident, knows that he has the ability to get the first down here. you're going to have to take some of those today. I mean, PG will they'll be able to match up with some of these down the field targets. Siri's going to have to be alert, find his opportunities to take 2, 3, 4 yards at a time.
And I'll give the Kobe Freeman on first down, and Freeman has about 5 yards to the 46-yard line. And again, Lone Peak on first down, they've been very, very effective getting ahead of the chains.
They have been, and you see that time a couple of linemen able to work their way up to the second level for PG, including Alec Goodovich. I think as well, Matthew Moore, able to work up to those linebackers. You get blocking on the second level, you're going to get good averages, good runs.
Second down and 5, they keep it on the ground, and they need to get to the 49-yard line. It looks like he has it.
Freeman again. Back-to-back runs for Kobe Freeman of 5 yards a clip. Pretty clear, the game plan here from Lone Peak. Run the ball, move the chains, keep the PG offense off the field.
And on first down, they keep it on the ground once again. Get down to the 47-yard line. It'll be second down and 8. And again, working Freeman.
Try right back up the middle. And PG does a better job of bottling that up.
Two-by-two formation. Put a man in motion, looking to throw. Siri throws a wheel route, and again, nearly intercepted. What a play. Maldonado nearly got his second pick of the quarter. As Siri, if he puts air under this ball, it might be walking in for 6.
Or if he throws it a hair quicker, Dusty, right there. Get that ball out a second earlier, and he has got Richie on the run, and you're picking up 15 yards.
So it's 3rd and 8 after the incomplete pass. Showing pressure. Connors comes off the edge. They brought 2 pressures off the edge. And that pass is well off the mark. Wouldn't have mattered. And it's 4th down. And I'll imagine the punting unit coming on here for Coach Brock Bink.
You know, Tough, you're moving the football on the ground. You know, Kobe Freeman picked up the gain of 2. They go to the air, and now it's 3rd and 8 in a tough situation. This one, another one, just gets away from Braden Siri. We mentioned his completion percentage in the pregame after coming back from that injury. He's been over 50% in every game. Right now, he's 2 of 7. Gotta get 8-19. Calm down here a little bit in this offense.
Got a false start. They'll be backing up the punt here. As Dane Christiansen, I believe it's Hill, waiting inside the 15-yard line.
I think it's Fowler, actually.
Okay, 1 and 4 is
right.
Actually taken at the 2-yard line, Easton Fowler, and Fowler gets out to the 9. So nice punt. It'll be a long field ahead of Jensen and the Vikings. 19 seconds left in the first quarter. And we got timeout on the field. 19 seconds left in the first. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DesertNews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Just a couple plays left here in the opening quarter. As both teams have moved the football, they've turned it over, and the defenses have played well as Dane Christiansen takes that handoff across the 15-yard line. Will probably be the final play of the first quarter as we roll inside of 10 seconds. It was a good opening drive for PG that ended in a turnover. Lone Peak had a turnover. Now both defenses have held serve. So at the end of the first quarter, we are tied at 0. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and deseretnews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Started the second quarter of the 6A semifinals. PG and Lone Peak, Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart of Deseret News Rewind with you. Had a terrific first game as American Fork knocked off who we picked in our bracketology and also who we picked in our previews setting up the semifinals, the Bingham Miners in overtime. 28-21 as Boone Abbott and the Cavemen able to get that win, avenge their loss in the regular season, also lost in the 2014 championship game to get to the 6A title game to take on the Border Wars. How fun is that? As a fumble on the handoff there, and PG fortunate to get back on top of that.
Jensen running into his fullback and threw off all the spacing, timing of all of that. It was one of the things, Dusty, I mean, Lone Peak has been here. PG hasn't been here in a while, and there's something to be said about being up at Rice-Eccles. The atmosphere, the pressure of a semifinal. Takes a little bit to get in the feel of that. PG fortunate to be able to recover that fumble.
So now 3rd down and 5 after the loss on the fumble. Trips to the near side. Quick set. Jensen fires to an open Easton Fowler. Fowler is popped at the end of that run, but it is a first down and a fresh set of downs as Nate Ritchie came up with the tackle. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 26.
Boy, great play here. As you mentioned, Jensen got popped, but it was able to find Fowler in that zone. And, Fowler got popped by one Nate Ritchie.
Ritchie had the pick 6 to seal the game as PG was driving to take the lead in the regular season matchup. As, man, Daly just continues to be an absolute menace in this ball game. Nothing new. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Watch this. The line pulls. I mean, that's pretty good. Typically, you're in pretty good position there. Daly just too quick around the edge. I mean, no pulling guard is going to contain him and able to bring down Christiansen for a loss of 2.
That was go gadget arm.
Hey, BYU fans, we saw one of your future commits in the early game. There's another one of them.
Some of the local guys. Be very interesting to watch going forward as Jensen's got time. He's got Christiansen, and Christiansen could not haul it in. Decent ball, and as Dane trying to make the adjustment, just could not get a beat on it.
Another look. Nice job picking up the pressure right there by Connors. I mean, Christiansen has a step, Dusty, and that's just a half yard out in front of him. In stride, and that's trouble.
The wind's picking up down the field. As we were down there between games, it was cold. I didn't notice the wind that bad down there. But here on the south end zone, you're seeing the flags move a whole lot more than you're seeing on the north.
It's moving left to right.
Jensen's got pressure coming, and down he
Ball's
goes.
out.
The ball's out. And it looks like black jerseys. No, Jensen's able to get back on top of it. Man, the pressure has been there and has been prevalent. And the punting unit will come on as the Vikings are inside their own 15.
I'm trying to keep my hands covered because it's cold. Dusty, I got 3 sacks for minus 23 yards, and we're just 2 minutes into this second quarter. The pass rush of Lone Peak, it is problematic.
It's going to set up great field position for this offense. Good snap, got time. Now pressure, and it's blocked. He waited a little too long, picks up the block, and it'll be Lone Peak football at the 1 yard line.
Here's a fun story. It's Michael Daly, who I think had the punt block against Skyridge,
Yes,
if I
he
recall
did.
correctly. You know, sometimes we see these punters, and you see that kind of rugby style, we're going to read and see if we have a chance to run. This is Christiansen. I'm surprised that he delayed so long. Just didn't see it. And next thing you know, you got Daly bearing down on you. It's blocked, and Lone Peak is set up in business. Or is set up. You know what I'm trying to say.
Well said. Yeah, that snap was a little to the left, and Dane just took a lot of time there.
A lot of time.
And
Yeah.
now Lone Peak looking to break the stalemate.
My friend who's a linguistic professional or major would be disappointed in me there.
And is Siri sneaking it in, and Lone Peak gets on the board. Daly with the block on the punt, and Siri sneaks it in, and Lone Peak takes a 6-0 lead with 9:21 left in the half. Point after coming up.
I mean, this is a pretty easy play call. Could have also gone with 13. It wouldn't have gone wrong there, but just muscle it in, and all that coming off of the block punt from Michael Daly, who has been a standout here in the early going for Lone Peak.
Good snap. The kick is off the upright and no good. Cannot take the point after for granted. See if that comes back to haunt him. 9:21 left in the half. It's Lone Peak 6-0 on PG. You're watching the 6A semifinals. A commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Lone Peak gets on the board after Michael Daly continues to wreak havoc. The block punt leads to the Siri quarterback sneak for the touchdown, as this kick will go into the end zone and bring the ball out to the 20-yard line, where PG will start over on offense once again. And Dan, the opening drive looked really, really good, and since then this offense has had a hard time getting off the ground.
Yeah, and Dusty, I mean, some of the timing has been off. We've seen a couple of fumbles, even though they've recovered them, obviously. And really, I would just say that. I think a lot of the timing. And it's odd because they're region foes, so they've played each other before. You have an idea of what sometimes, tape can be deceiving and, speed doesn't always translate. In this case, I'm not quite certain what to think. I'm not sure if it's a little bit of the environment or the atmosphere of the semi or what, but this PG offense just hasn't quite gotten things going. To give a lot of credit to Lone Peak up front.
Goes zone read on first down, and Christiansen just actually loses a yard.
And I think that's one of the big things. I mean, you look at running the football right now. Dane Christiansen, 4 carries, only 8 yards. 2 yards a carry. I mean, that's well below his average. He's near 6 yards per carry. But then, I mean, it puts you in long situations to try to throw the football against a real talented Lone Peak front who is just living in the backfield of PG.
On second down, Jensen over the middle. Connors with another reception. I believe that's his third, right, Dane? Out to the 34-yard line. It is 1st and 10.
It is, Dusty. Third catch and unofficially 46 yards. I mean, he has been the PG offense.
And those first 2 catches are on the opening drive.
And they were plays just like that. Go sit down. Lone Peak bringing all this pressure. There is space in the secondary if Jensen can get the time to get the ball away.
Well, stuff like that and screens will be big going forward as Jensen rolls out near side, fires, and
Nice
bobbled
grab.
and then caught. Nice job of staying with that one as the Connors brothers continue to do it. This one is the sophomore Rex Connors. And it'll be 2nd down and 4.
I'm a big Bill Murray fan. I just keep waiting for Phil Connors to come out because I got so many lines I could use. But Rex has had a nice start to this ball game.
2nd down and 4. Jensen rolls near side. Gonna tuck it and is cut down as Fotu got to him, and it'll be back to the line of scrimmage. Actually give him a gain of 1 to the 41. The man Fotu he and Daly have just been all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been surprised that PG has struggled with some of these Lone Peak blitzes to the extent that they have here in the early going.
Hill, Fowler, and Christiansen at the top of the screen, and the Connors near side. Jensen, quick set, fires, and that ball's tipped and intercepted. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then it was Keegan Nita coming away with the pick.
What a play. Have another look at this. I'm not sure if it was Daly who got, no, it was certain, yes, it was.
Daly.
Oh my goodness. Once again, 45.
Man, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. Right now, it was the Michael Daly show.
Almost sounds like a talk show. Might as well be.
We'll make it one. Siri comes out, and his ball goes through the hands of his intended receiver. It could have been picked off by Matt Smith.
Boy, that time tough. I mean, he and Doman are on the same page, and Doman's wide open. Probably too much behind this on a day like today. Just take a little off that. But that's one Doman really should catch. Both hands on the ball, wide open. Would have been a nice gain for Lone Peak.
And that's where Matt Smith's frustrated. It's already mad that you break your hand, but the cast does not help try to pull that one in. 2nd down and 10 after that near interception. Siri floating it up near side and incomplete. Pass intended for Trajan Hansen. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Nice coverage on the play by Maldonado. Mentioned Hansen's got good speed, can get down the field. And you'll see right there, Maldonado just stride for stride. That's a tough throw for Siri to try to drop up and over top Maldonado. Nice coverage on the play on the outside.
Third down and 10. Siri fires, and it's incomplete. Intended for Doman. So the defense holds serve after the interception, and the punting unit will come on for Lone Peak.
We talked about the tough start here for Siri. It continues. I mean, they're set up, great field position. Goes 0 of 3 on that drive. Now, one of them certainly should have been caught. Another one's in tough coverage, and one got away from him a little bit. Now 2 of 10 on the afternoon is Braden Siri.
End over end punt taken at the 5-yard line by Christiansen, trying to protect that ball from getting down inside the 5. So a 95-yard field ahead of Jake Jensen and the offense. 6:41 left in the half. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. So after the defense able to get the stop after the turnover for Pleasant Grove, it's up to Jake Jensen, the offense, to find the rhythm. A little surprised the way this thing started, but it has been daily, just all over the place. He and Fotu have been spectacular. As a quick set and fire pass is complete out to Jackson Hill, and Jackson makes a move after the catch. I believe a gain out to the 13-yard line. So gain of 8.
And that's what you're going to have to do. Run some quicker routes this time. Get the ball out of the hand of Jake Jensen faster. There's just Lone Peak right now is selling out to get pressure on Jensen. So they've got single coverage downfield. Again, there's space to work. They just got to give Jensen 2-3 seconds to get the ball away.
Vinker near side. Is Christiansen deep back, and the give is to Christiansen. Has the first down and more. Tried to make that move to the outside as Dan Christiansen has breakaway speed, as he showed in the first game this year between these two, the region matchup, out to the 26-yard line, and a fresh set of downs for the Vikings.
Best carry of the day, but really the best blocking on the day for Pleasant Grove on that play. Able to get a nice lane for Christiansen up that right side, pick up a nice first down.
More traditional I formation. And back to Christiansen. And Dane nearly able to keep his feet, got across the 30-yard line to the 32. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
See those linebackers come inside, and then Dane run to the right of it. A nice job of kind of roping in those linebackers and allowing space for Christiansen to work.
Hill to the top of the screen, Fowler near side receiver, staying under center. And again, Christiansen this time trying to bounce outside, and Daly, or pardon me, that was number 23 for Lone Peak. It was Keegan Nita having nothing of it. And it'll be 3rd down and 3.
As you mentioned, coming up was Connors to block, and a nice job of shedding that.
And that's the thing, you got to take it out, take on that block, keep your outside arm free. So if he does try to bounce it outside, you got him. That's just textbook handling there by Nita. You don't take on a block like Rudy does. Square up on him. And Lone Peak came offside. Unless they call a false start, but I believe about 3 guys came off there in black jerseys.
Yeah, you could really pick one of a number of guys to call this penalty on.
So it'll be a fresh set of downs for PG after the offside penalty. Put the ball at the 38-yard line. And again, staying in the I formation. Back to Christiansen, and he gets out to the 41, so gain of 3 yards. That make it 2nd down and 7.
It's pretty remarkable when you look at this start. We're here in the second quarter. Jake Jensen, 9 of 13, 110 yards. Dane Christiansen, 8 carries, 31 yards. You'd feel like PG would be in a better situation, but the untimely miscues, the turnover, and they find themselves trailing here 6-0, but really by and large, outside of the pass protection with some of these blitzes, they've operated pretty well.
Christiansen bounces it to the outside, has got the first down and then some inside of Lone Peak territory to the 47. And in this drive, one way to slow up the blitz is to run it or screen it, but the best answer is number 20.
Yeah, and he's really starting to get in a rhythm here. See, once again, feed it to 20. Look at the just pursuit in the backfield, able to be handled, and Christiansen able to get around the edge. Nice job that time by Dane. And you mentioned it, Dusty, trying to deal with some of this pressure, make them take the foot off the pedal defensively a little bit, and it'll open up a whole host of options for the Vikings.
So 1st and 10. Jensen tipped up in the air, and oh man, it would have been the 3rd turnover of the half as a diving attempt made by Jacob Mumford. And it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Man, it's just incredible. The way in which this front has played for Lone Peak. That's John Daly once again, the sophomore, able to make a play, bat it up.
Christiansen, if he tried to bounce that thing, he's got nothing but green grass in front of him. Easier to say when we're standing up at the top of the bowl. But they had pressure right on it. If he bounces it, Dane, this is a big game.
No, you're right. Look at that. You've got 50 up to take care of that linebacker. You go outside that block, and there's all sorts of room with really only a corner downfield and a receiver to help. It would have been a big play.
But to his defense, you're taught to cut off your blocker's butt.
Right.
Or I should say rear end, but we're online. 3rd down and 4. They go fullback dive, and Connors, he needs to get to the 38, gets to the 39, so it'll be 4th and 1. And decision time here for Coach Wooten. And he's not wasting any. They're staying right on the field.
I'd do it too. I mean, you feel like with the way they've been able to move the ball here, finally get some confidence, go take care of business.
4th down and inches. Jensen, he has it. He should have gone to the 38-yard line. Thought forward progress certainly had it. And Mr. Official wastes no time, gives the 1st down.
Best drive of the day coming right here for Pleasant Grove. And, Dusty, the other thing is a lot of time coming off this clock. It's been a quick half.
So 1st and 10, pitch out near side. Christiansen bounces it. And Dane inside the 35-yard line to the 32. It's a gain of 6.
Yeah, and now you're starting to see, again, some of those bigger chunks coming. Remember, Dusty, he had 4 carries for 8 yards. Right now, Dane Christiansen sitting at 11 carries for 54. The average is getting bigger, the blocking getting better. the run game starting to come through for PG.
Second down and 4. Play action. Jensen fires. That's a long throw for the first down. And Fowler, I believe, no, that was Hill, able to hold on to the football. What a great throw from Jensen. This is a young man that a couple weeks ago was taking his recruiting trip out to Colorado, and you see why. 51 seconds left in the half. It's a fresh set of downs for the Vikings.
Yeah, corner playing 10 yards off. A lot of space to work. And for those of you who say he needs to play up, Jackson Hill's fast. Got to protect against that speed, and good recognition that time from Jensen.
And we got a timeout on the field. 51 seconds left in the half. You're watching the 6A semifinal with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. .51 seconds left in the half. Pleasant Grove moving the ball effectively on the ground, and they go out of the I formation to a single set. You got an H-back right there in Connors. Gonna throw. Jensen finally fires, and it's incomplete. Pressure on once again, but able to get the ball off in time.
Boy, he took a big hit on this one, too. Is he trying to show that bootleg? He wants to throw back. It's just not there. Nice job of getting rid of it, but once again, I mean, this is like one read, maybe a second read. That time, I mean, he had more time than on other plays, and still, yeah.
Well, the hard part is you've moved it down here on the ground, but you'd just be burning timeouts and all kinds of stuff here. Is Jensen fires to Christiansen, makes the catch inside the 20, and he'll be a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 with 39 seconds left, and Coach Wooten takes the timeout with 39 seconds left in the half. And we'll take it with him. You're watching the 6A semifinals. Third down and 1 out of the timeout. 39 seconds left in the half. PG looking to tie this game and then take the lead the point after. Christiansen on the ground, and he might not have gotten it. He needs to get to the 17. A near side official has him near the spot. And now PG takes their third and final timeout as we see if he has the first down mark or not. It'll be a 30-second timeout. Dane, this has been an impressive drive for PG, and they're saying short. So it'll be 4th down and inches with 33 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought he was short. Now we're on an angle, so I'm a terrible judge of that. But, I mean, you look at that play, and great job by Lone Peak. I mean, we talk about Dane Christiansen starting to reel off some longer runs and starting to get in a rhythm and a flow. And on a 3rd and 1. Lone Peak able to come up with a stop on an interior run. Nice job. They've got one more play to do. Interesting here, if I'm Pleasant Grove, I may be thinking about a field goal here. I mean, you'd be looking at about a 35-yarder, but it doesn't seem as though that's being considered. Remember, they tried one, had the bad snap, led to no points.
It's first down or bust right here.
This would be a big stop for this Lone Peak defense.
Christiansen, the deep back behind Connors. You got a big quarterback in Jensen. And Jensen will sneak and get it. Jensen gets to the 16-yard line, so it'll be fresh set of downs, 31 seconds to go. No timeouts left for PG, so quickly back to the line.
I think I'd hurry and try to run it with Christiansen. Clock's going to be running anyway.
And Jensen will spike it. So 27 seconds to go. To be second down and 10. Kind of shocked that they're coming to the sideline here to talk to Coach Wooten. It was just a spike, not a timeout.
Well, I'm wondering if this is a, hey, let's call 2-play type scenario. I actually thought that would have been the case, off of that last timeout. You call a 4th down, call a first down play because the clock is going to be running. But they go a different route.
They got to hurry the line. 10 seconds on the play clock. Staying in the I formation, now down to 5. Christiansen in motion, 3, 2, just get it off. Jensen has time, he's got some grass, going to take off, and now will be stopped inside the 15. 20 seconds on the clock, they got to hurry, 3rd down. And now spikes it to 4th down to set up, I imagine, a field goal attempt.
Yeah, surprised that he didn't throw that ball away. Nowhere to really go with it. You get outside, just get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
You pick up 3 yards, but then you have to burn it down on the spike, and you have a really good drive. You still have a chance to get points here, but, man, you could have had 2 shots at the end zone instead.
I wonder when he took off if maybe he was shielded by the official to see the defender behind him.
Oh.
But on for a 30-yard field goal attempt. Snap's good. Kick is on the way. Sidewinding a little bit and wide left. A great drive, draws no points. And Coach Wooten frustrated about something. And as it is, it'll be emptied. So imagine Lone Peak with 5 seconds left will come out, take a knee, and take a 6-0 lead, and they get the ball back at the half.
Not only that, Pleasant Grove has tried 2 field goals and haven't converted on either of them. One, Ecolono doesn't get a shot. The other one, he does. 6 points left on the field right now for PG. We could be tied up. And really, again, depending on how that drive plays out, maybe they should have had 2 shots at the end zone instead. Nothing.
As the Lone Peak defense, as much as it's been about a couple of different things, it has been the defense, Dane. It's been daily with those big plays, and now this defense come up with that, in the missed opportunities on special teams as well. Timeout on the field. 5 seconds left in the 6A semifinal first half. So Lone Peak comes out in the victory formation, will take a knee, and now do it for the first half of play. 2 quarters in, it's Lone Peak 6, Pleasant Grove 0. In the 6A semifinal, winner takes on AF. We'll step aside, enjoy halftime, and we'll be back with the second half. You're watching the 2018 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com with commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. To learn more about how to get $20,000 or more to help you with your education, go to nationalguard.com. Second half ready to get started here at the 6A semifinals. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart of Deseret News Rewind with you here on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. And the kickoff taken inside the 5-yard line. This is Kobe Freeman. And Kobe Freeman's got game-breaking speed. Freeman inside the 40, inside the 30-yard line, and a big start to the half for the Lone Peak Knights.
Dusty, right now, this game is all about opportunism. Lone Peak took advantage of the blocked punt. That led to a 1-yard touchdown. And right now, despite being outgained 170 to 53 in the first half, they're in business again here to start half number 2. Lone Peak, Dusty, the offense hasn't been crisp today. It hasn't executed at an extremely high level. They've got a chance right here to put some real doubt in the minds of the PG Vikings.
Well, you think about how even last week, you had Nate Ritchie with the kickoff return for a touchdown on the opening kickoff and everything else. It is about opportunities and being opportunistic. So a 27-yard field ahead of them. They go Doman on the fly sweep. And Doman loses yards, or half a yard anyway, back to the 28-yard line. And you mentioned that, Dane. I mean, in that first half, Pleasant Grove ran 44 plays for 170 yards. Lone Peak ran 23 plays for 53 yards. The difference was a blocked punt and a 1-yard quarterback sneak for the touchdown.
And a missed field goal and a bad snap on a field goal.
Correct.
So there's points left on the field for PG and Lone Peak capitalizing.
And on second down, they go Freeman on the trap. And Kobe gets back to the original line of scrimmage to the 27-yard line. This will be 3rd down and 10, which in an area where I still think you're in maybe 2-down territory here if you're Coach Brockbank.
You know, one of the interesting things, Dusty, and I'm not down on the field, I'm not in the coach's room, right? Mason Wake got off to a good start in this ballgame. Had 5 carries, 24 yards. He hasn't touched the rock since. I don't think he's carried I don't think he touched it in the second quarter.
No, I think you're right. And it's been more Kobe Freeman here.
Yeah.
The last little bit as Freeman remains in the backfield.
And I'm not certain if he got hurt or dinged up or if it's just been a matchup.
Siri got his man inside the 5. Going up and making the catch is Sam Candland, and it's 1st and goal for Lone Peak.
Biggest offensive play of the day for Lone Peak, and it couldn't come at a better time. Siri, great throw, little high, but Candland able to go up and get it, and certainly no opportunity for PG to make a play on that particular throw. Nice job by Siri. Once again, 1st and goal here for Lone Peak.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Mason Wake is injured as
That's
Kobe Freeman to deep back in the I formation. It'll be Freeman up the middle, and Kobe gets maybe 2 yards down to the 2, where it'll be 2nd and goal. Yeah, Freeman's the big, Wake is the big back between the two, but Freeman's been effective.
Yeah, and you're right, Dusty. I mean, if I'm Lone Peak, I'm utilizing the yacht down here, and he hasn't been on the field.
2nd down, play action, and it is Siri rolling into the end zone. Takes a shot, but he's in. Touchdown, Lone Peak.
Love the play call here for Lone Peak. They have featured Kobe Freeman really since late in that first quarter, and they did it on 1st and goal. So let's run a little bootleg, draw the defense in, and you could see it. Those outside linebackers crashing inside, wide open for Siri to be able to take it in, absorbing the contact on the play.
Not chasing points, going with the field goal attempt. Or not going for 2, going with the point after. Good snap. And the kick is good. 9:16 left in the 3rd quarter. It is Lone Peak 13, Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium. It is 13-0 Lone Peak. PG waiting in their first possession of the second half. And it'll be taken inside the 5-yard line. And out across the 25 to the 28. Nice return there by Jackson Hill. And now PG, they had a great drive to end the half, ended up with no points, and had their moments. They kind of get moving, had turnovers, tip passes. Michael Daly has been an absolute monster on the defensive side for Lone Peak.
Yeah, Fotu as well. I mean, you know, so they had a break at the half, opportunity to shift some of their blocking schemes, trying to deal with some of this Lone Peak pressure. We'll see what they have in store here to start this second half.
And it'll start on the ground with Christiansen and out across the 30-yard line to the 32. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, and I like starting with the run, Dusty. I mean, you had mentioned that they kind of got their feel a little bit in that second quarter, and it all started with that right there. Getting the ground game going, allowing that to help open up some of the passing game. I would expect, you know, here on 2nd and 6, look at another run or maybe a short pass, but something underneath.
Run blitz from Lone Peak as Christiansen pinballs his way near the first down marker and got it. Needed to get to the 38, and that's where they're marking him. And it really seemed to settle things in that last drive. I mean, I think if it's not the end of the half, you're going to continue to run the ball to score, but it was just up against the clock.
No, I agree. And I think that they've finally started to figure out how they can attack this aggressive Lone Peak defense with that ground game.
Well, we talked about the first matchup. There was Jake Jensen, in that game for PG. Coach Wooten said, you know, we had to run a different type of style to go through that game as Christiansen reverses field, and Dane cuts it up and across the 45 and is spun down at the 47 as a nice gain on first down. But I think maybe the shiny new toy, so to speak, be able to, like, hey, we're going to want you being us. And this is more of what that first matchup looked like as far as running the ball.
Yeah, how's this for interesting? This is Michael Daly here at the 44, and look at Christiansen. He doesn't think he has the speed to beat Daly. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm saying BYU fans, that's what you got coming your way. Daly's been a terror, but how about that? You had one of the fastest players in the state, not certain if he could take that angle against the outside rush of Lone Peak.
And Jensen gets him on the hard count. So it'll be a first down for PG as they'll move inside of Lone Peak territory on the offside penalty against the Knights.
You know, and even though the score right now is 13-0, to me, you see this PG team, and it looks like they feel confident. I mean, the way that they're executing, I don't see them pressing a lot right now. Again, it's a 2-possession game, but they just feel composed. They're walking up to the line. It's organized. We're getting false starts. It feels like, I know they're not where they want to be, but no real rush or angst quite yet.
And Christiansen stonewalled and loses a yard on first down. It'll be 2nd and 11, and I think a lot of that has to be, all we got to have is 2 scores, right? If you're thinking with this offense and all these seniors on this team, they're not, I think in their mind, 2 scores isn't a big deal to have to come back from.
Right.
And it's not as though either, and we mentioned earlier, Lone Peak, 40 or 53 yards of offense in that first half. And they had a short field to start the second half, 27 yards to score that touchdown. So they're still yet to get over 100 yards of total offense on the day. You'd feel pretty good. He's got to get some points on the board. As Jensen is pressured once again, hit as he throws. That pass incomplete, intended for Easton Fowler. And it'll be 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, boy, I mean, this is a nice play. You see the play action. Christiansen there to pick up some of the pressure by that extra second, but this throw is short inside. And, you know, the amazing thing, Dusty, I mean, even looking at that replay, where the ball lands, there's 5 PG defenders. So it's not like they're bringing the house every play, bringing 4, maybe 5 guys, and still able to get there and get pressure on Jake Jensen.
Connors and Christiansen in the backfield with Jensen on 3rd down and 11. Bringing 5, setting up a screen. Jensen has to get rid of that ball, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Connors. He had no shot on that one. And PG's offense stalls after getting that first down on the hard count. And they'll have to come off the field as the Lone Peak defense comes up big again.
with the screen, you're letting blockers go. Man, I just.
It's not supposed to be a free rush.
Right. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get that play away. I mean, with how quickly, I think that was John Daly again, able to get pressure on there. And even at that, I mean, Jensen had to buy time to make that throw because there were guys that were staying home as well.
And a nice punt here is going to roll to the 5-yard line. So a good punt from Vinker. It'll be a 95-yard field in front of Siri and the Knights when we come back. 6:24 left in the third quarter. Lone Peak leads 13-0 here in the 6A semifinals. Winner takes on AF. Commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. .6:24 left in the third quarter. After the nice punt from Vinker, out comes Lone Peak at their own 5-yard line, leading 13-0. And the biggest thing is, Dan, they have not made the big mistake. They have the one turnover on their opening drive, but that is what has hurt Pleasant Grove is the mistake, the block punt, the setup, a 1-yard field for Lone Peak, and then the kickoff return here to start the second half to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, 2 short fields to work with for Lone Peak. Important here, Dusty, they take care of the football, cannot turn it over.
Handoff to Kobe Freeman, and Freeman really starting to play really, really well. He's getting into a rhythm to the 14-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Great job of weaving. I mean, he must be a Utah driver. Watch him weave in and out of traffic here. Kobe Freeman, fantastic job, able to pick up 9.
He did grow up at the point of the mountain.
Right.
Handoff once again, but nothing doing. Nice job of that PG front, able to get in there and get the stop. Landon Stooch was the first one there. And it'll forward progress back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd down and 1.
An opportunity here for PG to pick things up right where they left off, right? You get a 3 and out, forcing Lone Peak to punt from their own goal line. Figure you'd have pretty good field position for PG. This is an important 3rd down for this defense.
Interesting to see how they play this here. Got to be very open to the quarterback run here. Pistol formation with Kobe Freeman. And blown play. Messed up, and Connors drops Siri. Siri and Freeman were not on the same page, and Connors makes him pay. Young man who's had a big game at the tight end position comes up with his best play on defense.
Boy, a costly time to have that miscommunication. Talk about this PG front. And that time, once again, coming from the near side is Porter Connors. Has done a nice job with some of that outside linebacker pressure today for PG. Able to take advantage of the miscommunication. It does force that 3 and out.
So on comes Lone Peak to punt it away from their own end zone. It'll be a short field for Jensen and the offense. Nice punt. And it's taken by Christiansen, and he's immediately dropped. So it'll be he should be around the 48-yard line. But they're going to mark it at the 47. You're watching the 6A semifinals. Timeout on the field. 4.5 to go in the third quarter. Commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. 4.5 left in the third quarter. Best field position outside of a turnover for PG. Shotgun formation. Quick throw and intercepted. Going the other way, Tim Baker. Hill able to track him down, and it'll be another short field for Lone Peak. Baker with the pick and the return all the way to the 8-yard line.
Boy, a huge play for this Lone Peak defense, and the word opportunistic continues to come up. The pressure from guess who? Daly again forces the quick throw, and a great job stepping in front by the senior Baker. There's a penalty flag in late by where he was tackled, but Lone Peak once again will have great field position and a short field to start this drive.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Lone Peak.
You know, Dusty, there was a point that I was going to make, and you want to know who, and I have no idea where his recruitment is and where he wants to go and that sort of thing. You want to know who the next great Kyle Whittingham quote-unquote project is? I mean, when you think of like Chase Hansen or Britton Cummings, some of these players that he brings in and is able to just mold them and turn them into playmakers all over the field, Nate Ritchie.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he had a punt back in that first half, and it had backspin on it, like a Utah Australian punter would, and it died at the 5. We see him roaming as a safety, coming on pressures. He does everything. Again, I don't know where his recruitment is, but that's the next great player to really be kind of that Swiss Army knife at the next level.
But he doesn't play quarterback in the state of Utah.
Yeah, that's a problem, huh? Yeah.
A gain of 1 on first down. I know Richie recently picked up an offer from BYU. There was a slew of local guys that got some offers not that long ago, as Kobe Freeman gets a gain of 2 to the 22-yard line.
Yeah,
but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and we have verified Mason Wake hurt, will not return in today's game. So it is the Kobe Freeman backfield for Lone Peak to try to get through this semifinal.
And you feel good if you keep getting short fields like this.
That would certainly help.
Trips to the top of the screen, one receiver near side as they go back to Freeman on the ground trying to bounce it. He gets away from Connors. Now a flag comes in. We're going to have a holding penalty on Lone Peak. So Coach Wooten's going to take this penalty and move him back even further. We'll replay second down. I believe it'll be 2nd and 18 after the penalty. Win Fox agrees with me.
Costly penalty here, Dusty. I mean, look, Lone Peak is not lighting up offensive numbers today. And so, you know, you have great field position. You had a 2nd and 6. You would have had a 3rd and short. Instead, going to back yourself up now to 2nd and extremely long. Now, I mean, on that last possession, Siri did have a 21-yard pass or 23-yard completion inside the 5, about a similar spot here on the field, but down in distance a little different.
Again, trips to the top of the screen, one receiver near side. And Siri to throw. Fires going to the corner route. Got his man. Beautiful throw. And a great catch from Sean Wood inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal at the 8.
I mentioned he had a 23-yard completion last year. This one's 24. And, you know, whenever I think of Lone Peak football in this stadium, I think of this route, Dusty. The flag route and a big gain to move the sticks and set up 1st and goal. That Bingham game, right? Wasn't it the flag route that they continued to go to time and time again against the Miners?
Yeah.
What, 2015?
Flag, yeah.
Is that right?
2015, that and the seam route.
Yeah.
I formation, Freeman the deep back. That is Doman in motion, give to Freeman. And he goes inside the 5-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and goal.
And an opportunity to really take a stranglehold here. I mean, Dusty, a field goal and PG's okay. It's still 2 possession. You go down 3 scores, and we're inside of 3 minutes left to play here in the 3rd quarter, and the way that Lone Peak is taking time off of this clock, you may not get 3 more possessions if you're PG.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And a give up the middle and a touchdown for Kobe Freeman. Lone Peak taking advantage of opportunities, and it's 19-0. 2:41 left in the 3rd quarter.
This one well blocked up front. Lots of room for Kobe Freeman to work with. maybe had a couple of opportunities to get at least a hand on him, but instead it's a touchdown for Lone Peak and what maybe clinches one more game for the Knights.
And the point after is good. 2:41 left in the third. A commanding 20-0 lead for Lone Peak over PG. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com with commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. And the kick taken around the 5-yard line by Hill. And everything has just gone well for Lone Peak. They have not surrendered big plays. They have made them. They have been able to keep Christiansen for the most part in check. No big plays with him. No big plays with Hill. No big plays to Fowler. They've turned Jensen over twice, a fumble and then an interception. And just very impressed with Lone Peak has done. It looks different than the other teams we've seen from years past. We talk about Gunther's team. You talk about the next year with Hanson, or even last year with Brock Jones. It looks different.
Yeah. You know, and the other thing, let's give credit where credit is due. Braden Seri did not have a great first half. I think he was 2 of 10. Dusty, he has had 2 throws in this second half. One went for 23 yards to set up first and goal. The other went for 24 yards to set up first and goal. And that second one was on second and long. He's made the throws that he needed to make when he needed to make them. He stepped up and he's had a really nice third quarter to really help push this lead up for Lone Peak.
And you're seeing PG starting to press a little bit now. Is a very routine play not made there by Hill, something that he does time and time again. But to your point, the interesting thing is if you were to say, hey, all right, quarterback play, you know, who would you take? Jensen over Siri, or Jensen or Siri? I think we both take Jensen.
Yeah.
And I'd probably do it again tomorrow. But at the moment, Siri's playing a lot more settled. Showing pressure. Jensen can't get away. Down he goes. Daly got him again. Bad snap, but Jensen tried to step up in the pocket and Daly got him.
Yeah, I thought he certainly had time. Look at that. There's 2 guys there to shield off Daly, and what's so impressive, he doesn't allow himself to get locked up. Able to keep that separation away from the offensive line while still pursuit, able to come off easily, take down Jensen for another sack. What is that, 4 or 5 today for this defense?
Inside of 2 minutes we go, minute 50 and counting. Christiansen with the catch and then some. Christiansen still going across the 45-yard line to the 46. The biggest play of the day for this offense. And it's 1st and 10 PG. And we got an injured Lone Peak Knight.
Let's see if we can get a look. Saw that there was a player that got landed on by one of the linemen for Pleasant Grove. Not certain if that's the same player who's down right now.
And it could be just as much as just having they're checking his leg out. So they could knock the wind out of him, which always leaves you down, but they're going to be checking out who this is.
I think it might be Max 50. Oborn.
Yeah. Well, while they check him out, why don't we take a break? You're watching the 6A semifinal on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Oborn able to get off the field on his, got to get helped off a little bit Minute 35 on a rolling clock after that catch from Christiansen. Again, going back to Christiansen. Dan making a couple of moves, gets across midfield, then dropped it around the 49-yard line. Clock will continue to run, minute 20 and counting. Left in the third.
And interesting, Dusty, I'm trying to think if, I don't think another, has there been another Viking with a reception in the second half other than Dane?
No,
had a couple drops.
He'll drop that one,
Yeah.
Have not seen Connors. He had that big first half.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking. Second down and 5. Play action. Jensen fires near side, incomplete. Once again, hit as he throws. And the hits and all those different things being accurate, if you can't step into your throw, that ball is always going to be short.
Well, and if you're always second guessing yourself around whether you're about to have your ribs knocked out of place, this time, I mean, it's picked up a little bit, but that's just too easy to shed that block. If you're that back, you've got to come up and engage. This isn't just a little light tap and let the linebacker go. And I mean, we've talked about some of the pressure that Lone Peak has gotten, but at some point you've got to stand in there and help protect your quarterback, and just hasn't been there today consistently for PG.
Connors at the top of the screen, trips to the bottom. Jensen fires complete to Christiansen, and he has the first down, giving forward progress, and they just continue to go. Got a little bit of help from his friend at the end, and it'll be a first down as Kyle Sorensen came in trying to help out Christiansen at the end of that play.
Boy, and that's the kind of fight and resolve you need to see from this entire PG offense right now. Dane just wouldn't go down. You need to see more of that for PG to come back.
Jensen gets away from the pressure. Now fires to the flat, complete to Connors. He stepped out of bounds as Rex Connors made that catch, and he went out around the 36-yard line. It'll be second down and short.
One of the other interesting things, Dusty, and this isn't to, bring up old wounds. I did that PG East game. I've seen this O-line protect and give time. And today it's just been one of those days.
Yeah. And one of the rare times that Jensen's able to get away from Daly. Goes screen, they got a man, Vinker. Spins out of the tackle inside the 20-yard line. First and 10, PG at the 16.
Nice play call here and a fantastic job executing. Most importantly, how about down the field blocking, but spinning out? Some nice non-give up that time from Vinker.
It was Kyle Sorensen. He grabbed his hand at the end of that play a couple plays ago. He had come off the field there. He was the lineman downfield making the blocks. Trips to the top of the screen. The end man line of scrimmage near side is Connors, the tight end. Jensen's got time, fires to the corner, overthrown, no! In and out of the hands of Cade Walker as there was contact and a number of different things, but it falls incomplete, and that is the final play of the third quarter. All Lone Peak put up 14 points in the quarter, and they lead 20-0, heading to the fourth and final quarter of the 6A semifinal. Commentary brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. Fourth and final quarter. Welcome back inside the Rice-Eccles Stadium. Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart of Deseret News Rewind with you. Empty set to start the fourth for Jensen. Pressure once again, and down he goes again. Ball's loose and recovered by Lone Peak.
I thought he blew it down.
Well, he threw the bean too.
Oh, yeah, he did. I missed that.
And they're saying forward progress to that spot, and now third down at the 29.
More of the same, and again, the blitz are not picked up. Watch Fotu come through untouched.
I thought he threw that ball. We're also looking at another angle as well. It looked like he got it out, which would have been
incomplete.
Not just incomplete, I think it might have been intentional groundings. I don't know which one. Actually, he was down. The ball was in his hand, his knees on the ground. So good job by the officials. Third down and 23. 2 down territory. Field goals won't help. Jensen fires. Tipped and nearly intercepted twice. Incomplete. Getting his hands on that ball was Keegan Nita, who had the interception earlier in the game. And it's now fourth down and 23.
Half the defense had a shot at that one, and that time just too many bodies in the same area. Again, you see pressure this time from the outside, but throwing into a really tight window. I mean, there's just no room there. And I understand if you're PG, you've got to pick up yards and you've got to get in the end zone. That one, and part of that I think is the rush, maybe trying to, Jensen now trying to process things faster, trying to get the ball out quicker, but just not a lot of hope on that play.
Trips to the near side, fourth down at 23, got to get to the 6.
From the corner blitz.
Jensen fires, got a man, and incomplete, intended for Easton Fowler. And I don't know if the back judge got away a little bit there too, but it wouldn't have mattered. Incomplete, turnover on downs, and it's Lone Peak football.
Have another look. Again, the corner blitz and pressure coming right at him. If he throws that ball more to the middle, that's a touchdown. I mean, Fowler's open.
Well, these PG fans trying to stay in it, doing their version of the skull chant. But right now, it is an opportunity for Lone Peak to put their foot down and end this thing and punch their ticket to play AF next week. On the ground, Kobe Freeman continues to get stronger. Freeman with 10 yards on first down will move the sticks. He gets to the 39-yard line. It'll be a fresh set of downs.
Unofficially, Dusty, I have 130 total yards of offense for Lone Peak in this game. I mean, we were talking there, 3 touchdowns, all came on, field position that started inside the PG 35 and maybe the 30. I don't have the same memory, but either way, it's been all 3 have been short fields. I mean, and they've just asked the offense to not do anything detrimental to the team's cause, and it's done that today.
And the give to Freeman, and Kobe gets to the 43-yard line. Yeah, their touchdown drive started at the 1-yard line, the 27-yard line, and then it would have been the 8, but after penalty, back them up to the 23.
Yeah, crazy.
As it's second down and 6, as Freeman has taken over the duties with Wake getting knocked out of this game. 2-by-2 formation for the Knights. 10 and a quarter to go. There was a false start.
Yep.
So back him up 5 yards. Will make it second down and 11. But we talked about it just a little while ago, that this Lone Peak team looks different. And just the recent iteration, right? So we look at the run since 2015 when they got up here and made it to the state championship. Well, lost the state championship game to Harriman, but beat Bingham. And then the next year, lose to Bingham in the championship game. Last year, make it here, lose against East. This is not the same build. The defense were okay in those first 2 years. It was the offense that carried them. Last year, it was the defense. Brock Jones was even the Region 8 MVP, for heaven's sakes, or Region 4 MVP. And this has just been a different team where it's been the defense and the offense has made it work.
Well, and I think one of the other things when you talk about this Lone Peak team, and one of the ways in which it's different, I mean, if you look at some of the games they've had and the box scores, you've seen defense and special teams contribute on this team, at least from a scoring perspective, more than some of those other teams, right? Those other teams, you're throwing the ball 300 yards a game, and Syria hasn't had to do that. You're getting Nate Ritchie, you're getting some of those, other players, right, on other sides of the ball, making plays, helping with the scoring. And that's really taken a lot of the load off of the offense where it hasn't had to be responsible for 30, 40 points on its own end.
And to give to Freeman on third down, just right now the clock is their friend. And Freeman gets to the 45-yard line. The punting unit will come on as you start doing math here. It's going to take 3 scores from Pleasant Grove. We haven't gotten one yet. And let the clock be your guide here. If you're Coach Brockbank, I don't blame him one bit, keeping the ball on the ground and keep chewing up clock.
There are 2 men on the field right now that could do a lot of damage for PG. If I'm Lone Peak, I have no interest in any return. I'm kicking this ball out of bounds. The last thing I want to do is give some sort of momentum.
Oh, high snap. And got it off. What could have been a block and a beautiful punt. Taken by Fowler at the 17, maybe 18-yard line. But what a great job of getting that ball off altogether there by Ritchie. Timeout on the field, and we'll take it with them. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Lone Peak leads 20-0 over Pleasant Grove. Commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. Eight minutes and 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. PG needs a minor, well, even a major miracle. That ball is completed to Connors, but it's a loss of 4 yards back to the 15-yard line. And just kind of put in perspective here, PG has been rolling.
Yeah.
And just to see the fall of this offense in today's game, not only say fall, they have yards, they aren't scoring touchdowns. And it's just shocking. And it's a credit to Lone Peak's defense.
But even at that, I mean, you mentioned they have yards, and they do. But even Jake Jensen, 16 of 31, 186 yards. Came in completing over 60% of his passes, over 2,200 yards passing this year, and missed 2.5 games, almost 3 full games. I mean, he has not had the same kind of performance today as he's had in other games that he and this offense are accustomed to. And that's not all on his shoulders, right? I mean, we've talked, Dusty, off camera about, he's had players drop passes and obviously the protection. Once again, no one accounts for Jared Fotu.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many knockdowns he has or sacks. I'm not keeping that. It's got to be near 10. I mean, he has been living in the backfield of PG today.
I mean, setting up screens because you know you're getting pressures and they just cannot get the ball off. As Jensen sets up again, fires deep and incomplete. Intended for Jackson Hill. And it's fourth down. And, yeah, prudent thing to do is to punt this ball away. And Coach Wooten sending out the punting team. 7.5 to go.
It was a punt around a similar spot, Dusty, that was the only score of the first half. Remember, Dane was trying to read, figure out if he should try to make a play. Ended up getting blocked by Daly. Lone Peak playing much more conservative on this attempt.
As Christiansen off the side of his foot, and then it takes a Lone Peak bounce to the 32-yard line. A short field for the Knights as they are in absolute control of this game with 7:21 left. And out will come Siri in the offense, looking to add 7 more and really put this thing away. Right now, it's probable that they got this one done. They will make it absolutely clinched with another score.
Yeah, I think right now you're, the win projection is probably like 90%. Any points here, it turns to 100. Well, 99.9,
okay,
right? Because final seconds. But really, and Dusty, those last couple plays are really a summation of how this game has gone for PG. We'll touch on that when we come back.
7:21 left in the fourth quarter. Commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. All Lone Peak here in the second 6A game. The winner will take on American Fork, who won in overtime against Bingham earlier today. 4A semifinal coming up after this. Dixie and Park City. As Freeman gets inside the 30-yard line to the 29.
Dusty, one of the things that I was starting to talk about before, we had a late indication on the media timeout. The last couple of plays very representative of how this game has gone. You had pressure from Fotu in on Jensen. You had a screenplay that was a loss of 4, and then you have a punt that went, net of about 18 yards. Just not a lot has gone right today for PG. And they're going to look back on this game, and obviously they're going to have a lot of regrets the way they played, some of the ways they executed. But sometimes it's just not your day, and that's been the case today for the designated visitors.
Pitch out to Freeman, and Kobe is escorted out of bounds at around the 26-yard line. Now, Dane, I mentioned earlier, this is the first semifinal game since 2006. And in 2006, Pleasant Grove lost the eventual champion Bingham 35-0. In their last 2 semifinal appearances, they have not scored.
Wow. Whew.
You waited 12 years to get back and still have not put points on the board. Their last semifinal trip before that, if memory serves, without me pulling it up real quick, 1993, they lost in the semifinals. And that was back when they were 3A. Siri fires outside and too tall. That was a forward pass. Too tall, intended for Nate Ritchie.
And that's going to be one of the really unfortunate things. I mean, PG fans are going to look at this, and they're going to look at a team that didn't fulfill what they thought to be its destiny. This is a fantastic year for Pleasant Grove. Yeah. And this senior class, I mean, Dane Christiansen has started since a freshman. Jake Jensen's a 3-year starter. You've got a lot of kids out there that have played multiple years and contributed and built Pleasant Grove football to what it was this year. And I know people look at their region record, 1-4. Look, they went on the road and they defeated East. They also coulda, shoulda had Bingham. We're driving to beat Lone Peak in the regular season. I mean, this was a fantastic year for Pleasant Grove. This has been a great senior class and what they've built. And Coach Wooten's just getting this thing going. Just in his 3rd year here, PG football is good. Don't look back on this year as a disappointment or a letdown, because this class and this team still accomplished a lot of great things for PG.
Field goal attempt coming up, timeout on the field. 6.5 left in the fourth quarter. Nate Ritchie on for the field goal attempt. It'll be a 45-yarder or 44-yarder. Snaps good. Kick on the way. Got leg. And he got it. How about Nate Ritchie?
He called his own shot, Dusty. That ball left his foot. He started running off with the arms in the air like, that puppy's good. He was right.
Plenty of leg on that thing, too. Nate Ritchie, the do-it-all man.
Watch the kicker. That kick is up. Arms are up. He's like, that thing's good. I mean, it's at the 10-yard line. He's like, yeah, I got that one.
I'm all for it. Look at it. You got it all the way to the back.
Oh, man, no.
Been good 50-plus.
Kicker, punter, safety, / whatever else you want him to do.
As long as he doesn't do the Grammatica family stuff, I'm all for it.
I'm just glad he didn't tear his ACL in a celebration.
Yeah, Bill Grammatica, one of the most notorious celebrations of all time.
Yeah.
But as that is, I mean, right now for PG, 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions needed. Well, actually, 2 touchdowns, two-point conversion. Okay, 3 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions, and a point after to tie this game.
It is doable. It's just extremely difficult.
In 6.5 minutes. Here's Christiansen across the 30-yard line. And that is where Jake Jensen and the offense will come back out. And interesting to see what Lone Peak chooses to do, because right now it's my feeling. Keep everything in front of you. Who cares if they catch it and go? Just make sure you get them to the ground and let the clock run.
Yeah, we've got our sacks for the day, right? I mean, at this point, I have no problem taking kind of the Bingham philosophy that we saw in the first 6A. Bring 3, maybe 4, but by and large, we're dropping, and we're not going to give up anything easy. If you make PG try to work for these 24 points, you've got this one wrapped up.
Yeah, as long as there's resistance getting into the end zone and you're making them use time, that's right now the biggest defender on the field. As they throw out to Christiansen, thought maybe it might be a double pass there. Christiansen loses yards to the 29-yard line. Loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down and 12.
I mean, just remarkable. Dusty, this offense goes vertical. And even Dane Christiansen, there's just nowhere for him to go. I mean, that's a play that against most defenses they're finding, 6, 8, 10-plus yards on. And Lone Peak, the way that they've been swarming today, there's just no room to work.
Very disciplined group in black today. Jensen steps up, fires to the corner, nearly picked off, and incomplete, intended for Jackson Hill. And getting in there and breaking that one up is Cade Walker. And it's 3rd down and 12.
Jake Jensen has really struggled in this second half. Dusty, his numbers at halftime weren't bad. I mean, obviously the sacks and the pressures, wasn't able to have as much success as they would have liked, but his completion percentage was good. But you look at where that's going right now, he's under 50% in the ballgame. And those pressures obviously leading to it, but plays by the secondary of Lone Peak have contributed as well.
And now a timeout taken on the field. We'll take it with them. 5:36 left in the 4th quarter. You're watching the 6A semifinals with commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard. It's out of the timeout. 5 minutes and 36 seconds left. 3rd down and 12 for Pleasant Grove. Jensen fires. Incomplete. No, intercepted. It is Nate Ritchie going the other way. Touchdown, Lone Peak. Check that. It is number 5, Brock McChesney. And the senior corner waltzes into the end zone.
Nate Ritchie helped create the interception. He's going to be back here and deliver this hit. Again, you see pressure coming from Lone Peak. Nate Ritchie right there. He's the one that delivers the hit. Ritchie was slow to get up, but he looks to be okay. He's on to kick this PAT, but he's the guy who disrupts the ball from the intended target and allows his teammate, McChesney, to cash in.
Nice line of McChesney's have come through Lone Peak. The older brothers, one played at BYU, one is going to return from his mission and play at BYU. And that point after is no good from Ritchie. 5:25 left in the fourth quarter. Lone Peak all over Pleasant Grove, 29-0. You're watching the 5A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. After the pick six, Lone Peak kicking it away. And this one will go out of bounds. So bring it out to the 35-yard line for Pleasant Grove. Again, just trying to get off the schneid here. As we mentioned earlier, their last trip to the semifinals was in 2006. Eventual champion Bingham. And to tell you the difference in those two teams that met that day, Pleasant Grove and Bingham back in 2006. Bingham, since 2006, had made it to the semifinals every year, but every season except for 2011. Since then, PG, this is their first time back since 2006. And found a lot of talent go through Pleasant Grove. That's what was kind of shocking to think back on when you think of the year with Kruger and Lloyd. Yeah. And so many others as well on that team.
Yeah, they had, 10 starters that were D1 signees? Is that right?
Yeah, because you had a couple, the Dawes, and you had, what am I thinking? He's starting right now at Pleasant Grove. I can't think. You had two brothers that end up starting offensive line at Stanford. It's totally escaped my mind. But yeah, that was a team that snapped the 36-game winning streak at Tim Few, home winning streak, and all kinds of stuff. To think they hadn't made it up to Rice-Eccles Stadium since then is a little shocking. Is out to the 34-yard line. Goes, I believe it was Hill on the return. But just a dominating day for this Lone Peak defense. PG had played so well coming into the day and just has not been able to get anything going and sustained on offense at all. Their best drive, Dane, might have been the last drive of the first half. Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing, Dusty. And, you leave those points on the field with a missed field goal. And, they come out second half and, feel like, they're still very much in that ball game. But things just snowballed on them here, particularly late in the third quarter and in the fourth.
Christiansen breaks out a nice run, and Christiansen out to the 47-yard line. For PG, their last points in the semifinal, this isn't to rub it in, this is to kind of just give you history. 1993, they beat Woods Cross 14-7, and 1983 was the last state championship for Pleasant Grove football. As they beat Judge Memorial 18-17 in the 4A final that year. As they go back on the ground to Christiansen, and Dane is bottled up and dropped. That was Nita getting there and making the stop. Second down and long.
We talk about a lot of the guys for this Lone Peak defense. Obviously, Daly, Fotu, they've been big. Nita's been good today, too. We've called his name a couple of times. That outside linebacker able to come up, make plays behind the line of scrimmage for Lone Peak. Make no mistake about it, there's headliners on this defense. Ritchie, Daly, obviously, Fotu, But this unit, the entire unit has played strong today, and credit goes to all 11 that have been wearing black on the defensive side.
Back on the ground, Christiansen and Dane back to the original line of scrimmage. Now let's take you through a little bit of the dominance of this Lone Peak team, shall we? Since 2010, they made the semifinal in 2010. 2011, they made it to the championship game and won it. They beat Fremont in 2011 with Chase Hansen. Made it back in 2012 in the semifinal. 2013 semifinal. 2014 lost in the first round to Hunter. And then 2015 championship game. 2016 championship game. 2017 semifinal. 2018 semifinal, and we'll move on to the championship game.
You want to know one of the other interesting things, Dusty? This series, Lone Peak, Pleasant Grove, there's another interception thrown here. 17-5 are the Knights against Pleasant Grove. It has been a one-sided series between these two.
Cade Walker has got his hand on the ball a number of times today and finally gets an interception. That's got to feel good for him. He has had a lot of the passes defensed, and this time Jake Jensen just trying to offload the football and completely underthrew that thing.
Yeah. Just that kind of a day. You know, not going to blame Jake. Again, a play needs to be made. You're trying to do something to pick up energy on your sideline, but that kind of a day. I mean, just underthrown on the little flick, and Lone Peak able to take advantage again.
It's a thing of moment right now of anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Yeah. And again, not indicative of the career and the season for Jake Jensen this year, or in his career, the 3 years that he started for Coach Wooten.
You know, and going back to this group, Dusty, I mean, we've documented, you know, PG and their postseasons, the way in which things have gone. Give a lot of credit to this group for making it to this semifinal. I mentioned how to go on the road to East. Yep. Both you and I thought East was primed to make a real good run in this tournament. They were playing great football. At the end of the year, they win that ball game, make defensive stops late to win it. They go on the road to Fremont, take care of the Silver Wolves quickly, and you know, get back here to Rice Eccles. Again, it speaks to this senior class and what they've been able to do despite the showing here this afternoon.
Absolutely. And what it speaks to is this Lone Peak team, what they've been able to do is Matthew Ross on the carry there. As the new quarterback in is John Nealman. And Nealman, if you didn't know, Nealman was a quarterback that led the win against Bingham.
Bingham, yeah.
And PG.
Yeah, he came in. We talked about that Siri injury. It was J.D. Nealman, and he was the guy that got things going for Lone Peak. And, you know, they found themselves. They've won 6 straight, soon to be 7. This is a team playing with a lot of confidence right now, and Siri's a lot of credit on that, but J.D. Nealman was the guy who came in relief of Siri and kind of helped get that momentum going so that when Siri was ready to come back in, hey, they're running.
Yeah, just to tell you a little bit about this Lone Peak season. Game 1, they beat Harriman on a Deseret News Rewind Game of the Week, 24-14. They follow up the next week, 24-21 loss at Skyridge with forcing a number of turnovers, giving up a number of turnovers, and unable to get that win. And from there, they went to Henderson, Nevada to knock off Liberty. Liberty is perennially the second-best team in all of Nevada, perennially losing to Bishop Gorman, who won the country's best programs. They beat them 21-10 on their field, then turn around and lose to Highland the following week, 21-9. Then turn around and beat Kearns 42-0. The reason I'm sharing this is the next week against American Fork, they dropped that game 51-21, and they have not lost since that time. Beat Bingham 17-14, beat Westlake 48-7, beat PG 28-16.
And then East and Fremont. So I said 6, they've won 5 straight. And Dustin, I mean, even talking with Coach Brockbank before the game, he said that Highland game was where we really decided we need to change some things. And it wasn't the coaching staff, it was the players coming together, said they met that next day and decided, hey, we're not going to let this season get lost. Kind of circled the wagons, figured some things out, lost the one game against AF. But other than that, Dusty, this has been a team on a mission, and scoring 40 points in 4 of those final, 8 games or whatever that was. Again, and not just from offense, defense, special teams, everyone chipping in. the team has really come together, and it's been the main reason for their success.
High snap, just got that punt away. It is not Nate Ritchie, just so you know, and that kick goes through the end zone. Minute 49 to go for PG.
So then what we've learned, where that's not Nate Ritchie, is the soccer team should be pretty good this year for Lone Peak, eh? Nate Ritchie, the field goal kicker and punter, and then that time it was John Daly with the punt, and that was more of a spiral as opposed to the end over end. Yeah. We'll find out in the spring.
And the Lone Peak, I mean, they're usually fairly good at boys soccer. Of course, our coverage throughout the Deseret News Rewind will go through all the year. We're with you all school year. We want to thank our terrific sponsors in Deseret News Rewind of the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital and also the Utah Army National Guard, as well as a snap infraction. If they didn't throw the flag, I think they're warning him. Might have the new center out there. As starter still on the field for this PG offense. And it's a give to Dane Christiansen, and if you're wearing black, you're playing the run pretty stoutly. And on the stop there for Lone Peak was Sterling Fackrell. As the clock will continue to run, 1:35 and on.
So how about Lone Peak American Fork, huh? We've seen both of those two teams today. If Lone Peak can get the pressure on Boone Abbott they got on Jake Jensen, I think that game, what I learned here, that might be much more intriguing than I would have thought this morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, absolutely. And what we would have thought going even before then, as you and I have been talking about, what you expect is, this Lone Peak offense has been a little, we've just documented it, a little up and down. But this defense travels. Defense goes from week to week. And it is going to be, here's how awesome this is. Here's 6A, the largest classification in the state of Utah. 3 of the 4 teams came from like a 10-mile radius.
Yeah.
PG, AF, they share a boundary east-west. Lone Peak shares that boundary with them on the north and the east. It is unreal to think that pool of talent, and not including Sky Ridge, is in that same vein of area. It is just a credit to what is being done athletically in that area. Because basketball is going to come down the same thing.
Well, I was going to say that very same thing. It's not just football. Dusty, I mean, you can look at soccer. And last year it was American Fork, it was PG, and there was a third team, and I can't remember who it was. It was Bingham. Those 3 made the semis in soccer last year. Basketball is going to be the same thing. Lone Peak, American Fork. I mean, it speaks to that area and what they've really done to help build their youth sports and their high school sports.
Well, congratulations, Lone Peak, moving on to the championship game to take on AF. It might not have been as dramatic, but it is absolutely dominant. Congratulations to Pleasant Grove and Coach Mark Wooten on a terrific season, a great run here in the postseason. They come up short, 29-0 the win for Lone Peak, your player of the game.
Dusty, I can't pick one. I'm going to go with the Lone Peak defense. They shut down a really dynamic offense. I mean, it can start with Michael Daly. I'm happy to give him our player of the game honor.
I think
Jared Fotu, I mean, the pressure he brought and got there all day long was impressive. Obviously, Richie in the backfield. We'll go one because I don't love team recognitions. So we'll go Michael Daly. He was the guy that really set the tone early. Got a couple of big sacks. I think he had 2.5 or 3 in this ball game. I think he's over 20 now officially on the year. Jared Fotu, kind of a co-player of the game. But, I mean, this Lone Peak defense was lights out.
Congratulations again to Lone Peak. Heading back to the championship game, the 3rd time since 2015. They'll be taking on AF. For Ryan Rasmussen, Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching the 2018 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com with commentary brought to you by Utah Army National Guard.